welcome to High PSI TV. We're up here at RPM Motorsports, and we are going to talk about the Tahoe. A lot of people have been asking about what I'm going to do with it, and it's finally time to get started. Christmas is over, New Year's is over, we're back in the swing of things, ready to get back to work. So we are going to talk about what the plans are for the Tahoe for performance upgrades. We're going to try a few different things that we haven't done up here at RPM yet, and this is going to be kind of a test bed for truck performance parts that we might try to do a little bit more of in the future. So what I'm going to do first is go over what's already done to the truck. I had the motor rebuilt about 3 years ago. It's a 5.3 with 853 heads on it. I had them shaved to up the compression ratio a little bit. When I had the motor done, I put a fresh set of pistons in it, stock rods with ARP rod bolts to help hold the rod to the crankshaft a little bit better. Everything else on this truck is pretty much stock as far as the engine goes. Cam is a 224, 228 truck cam. Sounds good, it has about 600 lift. No headers on this truck right now. Transmission was built by Bobby Brinkley. It is a stage umpteen million. It's good for about 500 horsepower, and it has a Yank truck thruster converter in it, 3400 stall. I use this truck to tow, so I didn't want to go too radical with the cam or the converter. Everything else is stock except for it's lowered. So here is the plan for the 2004 Tahoe. We are going to put an LSA supercharger on this truck, and it's nothing that we've ever done here before. A couple people make brackets and adapter plates to make it all happen, and we have a couple LSA blowers laying around, so we're going to try to bolt one to this truck and see what kind of performance gains we can get out of it. Also, I'm putting a set of headers on it, 1 7/8 pace headers, coated. Reason for the 1 7/8 is because we're going to be boosted, so we want to be able to get all the air out of the engine as quick as we can. And then we're going to put a different cat back on it. It's got an MBRP right now. We'll probably go with a MagnaFlow or a Stainless Works cat back. We're also going to upgrade the fuel system. We're going to put a Deechworks 400 pump in it because I want to run E85 on this truck once we get it all built and together. It's a flex fuel truck, so I don't have to worry about putting in an aftermarket sensor or anything like that. As soon as the truck is done, we put E85 in it and we tune it on E85. And the pump should be able to support everything that we're going to do, 500 rear wheel horsepower. Let's show you guys the parts that we're going to be installing. Here are the headers. They just came in yesterday. These are 1 7/8 coated pace setters, long tubes with a 3-inch collector. Really good headers for the money. They make 1 3/4 and 1 7/8 for trucks and SUVs. They also make headers for cars. These are a good entry-level header. They make them coated and uncoated. They do not make stainless. So this is the good entry-level set of headers. Here we have the billet adapter plates to adapt the LSA blower onto a cathedral port head. So you can see this part of the adapter is square. You flip it over, we've got cathedral ports. So these are going to go in between the cylinder head and the blower so that I can run a square port blower on a cathedral port head. This is our throttle body adapter. And what this does is it allows me to run the stock throttle body on the LSA blower. Now this is a small throttle body, but for right now this is the easiest way for me to get the truck up and running until I do a bigger throttle body, which is kind of hard to find in a 3-bolt style, old style throttle body. So this will get us up and running. It's about 30 bucks. So no big deal right here. And here is the meat and potatoes of the build. This is a 2012 LSA supercharger off of a CTSV. This supercharger already has a smaller pulley on the snout. So on a 6.2 liter LSA, this is good for about 2 to 3 pounds of boost over stock. So you're looking about 14 pounds overall. We are going to be running a stock lower pulley, crank pulley, on my truck with a 255 upper, and we're hoping for somewhere between 14 and 15 pounds of boost. So what I need to do with this is take this throttle body off, get my 3-bolt throttle body on, and I also need a set of fuel injector rails because this blower doesn't have injector rails on it. I can get those direct from GM. We're also going to run stock ZL1 injectors. We're hoping that making around 500 rear wheel horsepower that a stock set of injectors will be enough. If not, we keep fast 85-pound injectors in stock here, and I'll be putting a set of those in. We're going to see how it goes first. It doesn't take about 15 minutes to swap a set of injectors if I need to. So this is what we got under the hood right now. Cold air, no headers, cam, mechanical fan. I'm also going to be doing an electric fan swap on this Tahoe. I have a set of fans out of a 2011 Silverado that I'm going to make brackets for and install on this truck, because right now the mechanical fan is sucking up some horsepower, so we want to get rid of that. Brand new alternator, stock manifolds. So the bracket that I need for the front drive, what it does is it eliminates this alternator and power steering bracket, and you get a new sheet metal bracket. What it does is it rotates the alternator over here, and the reason for that is when you put the LSA blower on this engine, the throttle body points out towards the alternator where it's located currently. So we need to knock this out of the way, and then the throttle body will exit here where the fan shroud is. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to make a new cold air to where it turns and comes back to the stock box. No big deal, I'll probably do it out of aluminum. Just something quick and simple to get this thing back on the road. So up front, we're gonna be using a stock Z01 heat exchanger, which is good for 500 horsepower. And then back here in the corner, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna modify this AC line, and I'm gonna build a bracket so I can have an ice tank under the hood. The stock ZL1s do not come with ice tanks, CTSVs don't come with ice tanks. All they come with is a heat exchanger behind the front bumper and a water pump that sits down behind the front bumper as well. What I'm gonna do is I'll have an ice tank under the hood, which will normally just carry coolant and water mix. When I go to the track, I can put ice in it, but it's also going to contain the water pump for the whole system. That way I don't have to have a water pump sitting under the engine bay somewhere else. It'll be contained in the ice tank with everything else. So like I said, we're gonna shoot for over 400 rear wheel horsepower. I don't know how high we're gonna get. It's gonna depend on fueling, and it's gonna depend on how far I wanna push it as far as boost goes. Chris, our tuner up here at RPM, has assured me that we'll make over 400, but we might push it to around 500. I've never done an LSA swap before. I don't think anyone at this shop has done it before. So it's gonna be kind of a learning experience for us, but I think it's gonna be a good one. We're very familiar with the LSA platform, very familiar with boosted cars, just haven't done it on an older 5.3 truck. So I think the throttle body is gonna be a limiting factor. Everything else with the engine should work good. The cam should work good with boost. The headers are gonna work good. The transmission should be able to hold it. So that's the plan. We're gonna put some boost on the Tahoe and throw some ethanol fuel at it and see what it can do. If you guys have any questions about this, comment below and I'll try to answer them the best I can. This series is gonna go on for about a month. So today I'm gonna install the headers on the truck. So be sure to watch out for that video in the next couple of days. And then I'm gonna take my time with everything else. I'm gonna do the fuel system next, where I put the fuel pump in tank. After that, I'm gonna get the LSA blower ready to install. I'm still waiting for the bracket. I should have it within a week, week and a half. And once I have that, then we can really start moving as far as putting the blower on the truck. Before I do that, I also have to do the E-fan swap. So that's gonna be another video that I put out. So we're looking at about 5 videos for this whole build process. And we're gonna dyno it in between. So I'll do the headers, we'll dyno it on pump gas, then we'll dyno it on ethanol and see what it does. I'll put the fuel system in it and the E-fans on it. I'll put it back on the dyno and see if I pick up any horsepower by getting rid of the mechanical fan. After that, we'll put the blower on it, and then I want to tune it on pump gas, and then we'll tune it on ethanol after that. So, got a little bit of work ahead of us. This isn't my daily driver, so no big deal. I got another car that I can drive while this one's down. But getting started today with headers, which is something I should have done a long time ago, having a cam and higher compression. Be on the lookout for this build series. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be cool. The truck is not fast enough in the quarter mile. It will not turn the tires over. So this is how we're going to remedy that problem. As always, guys, be sure to comment with all your questions. I try to read and respond to all of them. Like this video if you're excited about this series, and always subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.